Hey guys, I'll be talking about 3 reasons why you may not be losing weight. So, reason number one, you're eating too much. Now, that may sound pretty simple, but it's not as simple as it might seem. So, a lot of people, they'll be eating seemingly what seems to be a calorie deficit, and they'll notice that they're not losing weight. Now, what you need to know is that on nutrition labels, they're often off as much as 20%. So that's the allowable amount that nutrition labels can actually be off in either direction. So if the food says, say, 1,000 or 1,000 calories, then it can be off. It can be actually 800 calories or 1,200 calories. Now, that can, as you can see in that example, that's 200 calories. That can be a lot when you add that up over the course of a day, right? So if you have a hamburger and each one of or every single one of those ingredients is off by 20%, that can be a significant amount. Not actually being in a calorie deficit is definitely one of the reasons that a lot of people don't lose weight. Not just not knowing what's on nutrition labels, but also a lot of people are actually expending less energy than they think. Now, as personal trainers, when we do these equations that take into account your resting metabolic rate or your daily energy expenditure, we have different equations that go into these. And these equations are estimations based upon averages of the population. So we'll have equations for, say, when you've put in you put in like your height, weight, your age in these online calculators, then they ask you how active you are, and then there's a multiplier that is used in order to calculate how many calories you should be eating in order to gain or lose weight. Now, again, these are just they don't know who you are individually. They don't know what your individual resting metabolic rate is. So these are just averages, and they can often be off. And just your own resting metabolic rate for individuals who weigh the same can be off by as much as 15%. You can see it's not quite as simple as you may think. So reason number one, you are eating too much. Reason number two, stress. Stress can come in many forms. It can be emotional, physical, like working out too much, or it can be from lack of sleep or just anything. Stress is bad for many reasons, but I'm going to talk primarily about cortisol as it pertains to your ability to lose weight. Cortisol is good acutely because it gives you the energy that you need immediately if you're in an emergency, but chronically it's not so great. It does things like breaks down proteins, which again acutely can be good, but over the long haul it'll actually detract from your muscle gain. It also raises your blood sugar levels. What happens when your blood sugar levels raise is that your insulin also raises to match it, because your insulin helps keep your blood level low. So say, for instance, I just ate an apple, which has a lot of sugar. Your insulin levels are going to spike in order to keep your blood sugar down. And what insulin also does is it makes your body store food as energy. So what happens is that your body will take that sugar, and if it's not immediately utilized, then the insulin will actually have it stored as fat. Now you can see how if your body is constantly in a state of chronic stress, and you've got these chronically high blood sugar levels, and you're storing fat, it's going to make it hard for you to lose weight. Reason number three is that a lot of people are not consistent with their diet. So this kind of goes back to reason number one, because if you're not staying consistent with your diet, you're often going over your required calories, which is going to cause you to store energy as fat. But what I mean specifically in this case is not when you're doing that on a chronic everyday basis, but when, say, you're doing your diet and you lost, say, 2 pounds in a week, and then you find that your weight has either stalled or gone up a little bit the next week when you're still in that calorie deficit. So a lot of people, when that happens, they decide that this diet isn't working, or they go screw it, and they'll eat junk food for a day, go off their diet, or a couple of days they'll binge a little bit, and then they'll come back. Either way, doing harm to, or not allowing them to get to where they want. So when that happens, there are there are a number of reasons why. It could be that, say, if you're a woman, it's around your period, and what can happen is that you'll actually store more water than usual. And there are a lot of little reasons like this why you may or may not be losing weight even though you are in a deficit. It could be things that you're not noticing, like if you've eaten more carbohydrate than you normally do, you will see a change on the scale. You will see it go up because you have retained more water than usual. And again, like I said, there are a lot of little reasons like that why you may or may not be like continually losing weight even though you are in a calorie deficit. Now, in general though, if you are in a calorie deficit, you will continue to lose weight as long as you just keep with it. Now, I'm a big believer that if you stick to your diet 90% and you go off at the other 10%, then you're still overall, over a longer period of time, you're gonna get pretty good results, as opposed to you sticking with a really strict diet, say for a couple months and then going off of it, because you're just gonna gain that back. So the key here is to stay consistent, stay in that calorie deficit, and stick to the diet, and reduce stress. Okay guys, I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another one soon.